How did a man from the 12th century become a symbol of resistance and unity that transcends time and space? This question sparks our journey into the life of the legendary Saladin Ayyubi, a figure revered not only in the Islamic world, but also among those who stood against him on the battlefield. Born Saladin Ibn Ayyub, his name resonates through the annals of history, echoing tales of courage, chivalry, and leadership. Saladin, a beacon of resistance against the Crusaders, was far more than a military genius. He was a man of principle, a leader who held the welfare of his people above all, a ruler whose sense of justice was admired even by his adversaries. So, who was this man who continues to inspire millions across the globe, centuries after his demise? Join us as we unravel the life of this enigmatic leader, Saladin Ayyubi. Born in Tikrit, in modern-day Iraq, Saladin's journey to greatness was anything but ordinary. In the year 1137, a baby boy named Yusuf ibn Ayyub, later known to the world as Saladin, was born into a world of turmoil and change. His roots were firmly planted in Kurdish soil, a heritage that would shape his character and guide his path. His family was of noble descent, which afforded young Saladin a robust education, where he excelled, showing an early aptitude for leadership and a keen intellect. His life took a dramatic turn when his father Ayyub, a respected military commander, was appointed the governor of Tikrit. The family moved from their humble beginnings to the fortress city, exposing Saladin to the realities of military and political life at a tender age. His father's influence and access to the court would play a pivotal role in young Saladin's development. When Saladin was just a teenager, his father introduced him to his uncle, Shirkuh, a prominent military figure of the time. Under Shirkuh's wing, Saladin embarked on a military career that would shape the course of history. His apprenticeship was intense and demanding, but Saladin was a quick study. He swiftly rose through the ranks, showing a natural talent for strategy and an ability to inspire loyalty among his men. In the year of 1169, after proving his mettle on the battlefield and demonstrating his diplomatic skills, Saladin was appointed the Vizier of Egypt, a position of immense power and responsibility. He was now in charge of one of the most prosperous lands in the Middle East, a testament to his exceptional leadership skills and strategic acumen. His ascension was not without challenges, but Saladin faced adversity with unwavering determination and a clear vision for the future. Every obstacle he overcame, every victory he achieved, served to strengthen his resolve and solidify his position. His rise to power was swift, but Saladin was just getting started. His early life laid the foundation for a remarkable journey ahead, one that would see him become a revered leader, a formidable warrior, and an enduring symbol of unity and resilience. From vizier to sultan, Saladin's reign was marked by wise governance and military prowess. Indeed, Saladin was a man of many talents, and his consolidation of power is a testament to his strategic mind. In 1079, Saladin was appointed the Vizier of Egypt, a position akin to a prime minister. However, it was clear that he was more than just a political advisor. He was a leader in his own right, and he quickly set about consolidating his power. He unified the various factions within Egypt, bringing them under his rule, and by 1081, he was declared the Sultan of Egypt and Syria. But becoming Sultan was just the first step. Saladin knew that to truly rule, he needed to win the hearts of his people. And so, he embarked on a series of reforms, focusing on education and justice. He established schools and libraries, encouraging learning and intellectual discourse. He also sought to uphold the rule of law, ensuring that justice was served no matter the status of the accused. Yet Saladin was not just a man of letters, he was also a man of war. He undertook numerous military campaigns to protect his realm and expand his territories. He was a brilliant strategist, leading his armies to victory against formidable opponents. His military prowess was widely recognized, and he was respected not just by his allies, but also by his enemies. Saladin was a man who wore many hats, a scholar, a warrior, a leader, but above all, he was a visionary. He had a dream for a united, prosperous Egypt and Syria, and he worked tirelessly to make that dream a reality. His reign was marked by progress and prosperity, and he left a lasting impact on the region. But Saladin's most defining moment was yet to come. For while he had achieved much as the Sultan of Egypt and Syria, his greatest challenge, and his greatest triumph, was still ahead. A challenge that would forever etch his name in the annals of history. In a world dominated by the Crusades, Saladin emerged as the beacon of Muslim resistance. The Crusades, those series of religious and political wars, had swept across the Holy Land, igniting centuries of conflict. Knights from Europe, driven by faith and the lure of glory, sought to reclaim Jerusalem from its Muslim rulers. Enter Saladin. A charismatic and strategic leader, he was not just another player on this grand stage, he was a game-changer, a unifier of Muslim forces who turned the tide in favor of his people. The stage for Saladin's most notable military triumph was set at the Battle of Hattin, fought near the Sea of Galilee. It was July in the year 1187, the sun was scorching and water was scarce. Saladin cleverly cut off the Crusader army from their water supply and encircled them. The Crusaders, parched and exhausted, were no match for Saladin's well-prepared forces. The battle ended in a decisive victory for Saladin, leading to the capture of the True Cross, a relic the Crusaders held dear. But Saladin didn't stop at Hattin. He marched on to Jerusalem, the glittering prize both sides yearned for. After a brief siege, the city surrendered. Yet rather than slaughtering the inhabitants as the Crusaders had done when they took the city almost 100 years earlier, Saladin chose mercy. He gave safe passage to the Christians living in Jerusalem, a move that earned him respect even from his enemies. The Crusades continued for many years after Hattin. But that battle and Saladin's subsequent capture of Jerusalem marked a significant turning point. It was a moment that demonstrated the power of strategic leadership and the impact of a single, decisive victory. Saladin's victory at Hattin changed the course of history. The Muslim world had a hero, the Crusaders a formidable adversary. And the world had a lesson in leadership, tolerance, and the true cost of war. Even in war, Saladin's chivalry and benevolence shone through. This is not a statement made lightly, as the Crusades were a time of great conflict and strife. Yet, amidst this chaos, Saladin's actions often reflected a deep sense of honor and respect towards his enemies. One of the most notable examples of Saladin's kindness was his treatment of prisoners. In those days, it was common practice to hold prisoners for ransom or even execute them. However, Saladin often chose a different path. He would frequently release prisoners without any demand for ransom, a gesture that was considered exceptionally magnanimous for that era. His acts of mercy extended not only to the nobles, but also to the common soldiers and civilians. But perhaps the most famous instance of Saladin's chivalry was his interaction with Richard the Lionheart, the King of England. Despite being adversaries, the two leaders developed a mutual respect for each other. In one instance, when Richard fell ill during the Crusades, Saladin sent him fruits and snow from the mountains to help him recover. This act of kindness, towards an enemy no less, was unheard of in a time of war. Saladin's chivalry, however, did not compromise his strategic prowess. He was a skilled warrior and a shrewd diplomat. His military acumen was evident in his tactics, while his diplomatic skills were showcased in his negotiations with his enemies. Despite his victories, Saladin never reveled in the downfall of his adversaries. Instead, he treated them with dignity, earning their respect and admiration. In the brutal and bloody era of the Crusades, Saladin stood as a beacon of honor and nobility. His actions were not only a reflection of his personal values, but also represented the ideal of a noble and chivalrous leader. He was a man who fought with valor, led with wisdom, and treated his enemies with respect. In a time of war, Saladin's nobility made him a respected adversary. His legacy is a reminder that even in the harshest of circumstances, one can choose to act with kindness and honor. Saladin was indeed a noble enemy, a warrior who fought with both his sword and his heart. Saladin passed away in 1193, but his legacy lives on. His death marked the end of an era, but his influence transcended his time, echoing through the centuries. Saladin was respected not only for his military prowess but also for his noble character. He was a leader who valued justice, wisdom, and integrity, qualities that immortalized him in history. Today, Saladin is remembered with reverence in the Muslim world, celebrated for his unifying efforts and his victorious stand against the Crusaders. But his legacy isn't confined to the East. The West, too, acknowledges his chivalry, magnanimity, and strategic genius. His story has been told and retold in literature, art, and popular culture, attesting to his enduring impact. Saladin wasn't just a sultan, he was a beacon of leadership, a symbol of resistance, and a unifier of people. His life serves as a testament to the power of unity, compassion, and determination. Saladin Ayyubi, a symbol of resistance, unity, and noble leadership. A man whose legacy continues to inspire people across centuries.